Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So let's talk about something I think a lot of us have felt. You know that little knot in your stomach?
Oh, absolutely.
When you walk into a bank in a new country and you know you have to handle some really crucial financial business, but you're just not sure if you have the exact right words.
Right. The stakes feel so high.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get it wrong.
Exactly. Well, if that's you, this deep dive is what you need. We are completely skipping the textbook and going straight into the language you actually need for banking in English.
And what we've pulled from our sources today, it's not just a vocabulary list. It's more of a cultural guide.
A cultural guide? How so?
Well, a bank is a formal setting. It demands clarity, respect, and a certain tone. And that brings us actually to the most important insight of this whole conversation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's get right into it. What's the one thing everyone needs to know?
It's the huge difference between sounding direct and sounding polite.
Okay, so like saying I want something.
Exactly that. If you walk up to a teller and you say, I want to open an account, it sounds a little demanding.
Almost aggressive, maybe?
It can come across that way. In professional English, especially in finance, you replace demands with polite requests. So the magic phrase is, I'd like to.
I would like to.
Yep, I'd like to. Getting that right at the start, it just changes everything. You immediately sound polite. You sound confident.
That one phrase sets you up for success. Okay, so that politeness tip is huge. Let's apply it. We're walking into the bank lobby. We want to open an account. How does it start?
The sources show the best approach is simple and professional. Just, good morning. I'd like to open a bank account, please.
Short, to the point. The clerk knows exactly what you need.
Mm-hmm. And you have to be ready for them to follow their own script. They're going to come back with some logistical questions right away.
Right, like, do you have an appointment?
Or, may I see your ID, please? You have to anticipate that.
And let's be honest, a lot of the time we don't have an appointment.
Which is totally fine, but you need the right phrase for that situation.
So what's the courteous way to handle that?
The sources give us this perfect little bridge phrase. No, I don't. Is it possible to open one now?
I like that. It shows you understand there's a system, but you're asking for a solution. It keeps the whole conversation moving.
Exactly. No awkward silence. And once you're past that, you get into the real details of the account itself, which brings up the two big categories, checking and savings accounts.
Yep. And for anyone learning, it's so important to know the difference.
So what's the simplest way to think about them?
Think about access and goals. A checking account is like your daily wallet.
Okay, so that's for paying bills, using a debit card, taking out cash.
Right. The money's always moving. A savings account, on the other hand, is more like a secure lockbox. It's for long-term storage.
And it has that one special feature.
It earns interest. The bank pays you a little bit of money just for keeping your funds there.
So your request needs to be specific. I'd like to open a checking account, or I'd like to open a savings account. Precisely. But no matter which one you choose, you're going to run into what is probably the single biggest headache for anyone new to this. Documentation. Specifically, something called proof of address.
This sounds simple, but I can see how it's a huge problem. If you've just arrived in a country, you might not have a utility bill or a rental contract.
It's a massive challenge. Because proof of address is exactly that, an official document that proves you live where you say you live.
So if the clerk asks for it and you just don't have those specific things, what do you do?
Well, the most important thing is not to panic. You need to ask for clarification politely.
Okay, so what's the natural way to ask without sounding, completely lost?
A great phrase is, sorry, what do you mean by proof of address? Or even, could you give me an example of what you'd accept?
Ah, that's good. It shows you're trying to cooperate.
Exactly. You're not challenging them. You're trying to get them the right documents.
Okay. So let's say we get the account open. Now we have to actually use it. Let's talk about managing money at the counter, starting with deposits, putting money in. Right. So you go up to the teller, and again, you use that polished phrase, hi, I'd like to deposit some money into my account, please.
Yeah.
And then you have to be specific about what you're depositing.
You do. You have to say if it's cash or a check. So I'd like to deposit $500 in cash, or I need to deposit this check, please.
And after they take the money, there is one absolutely non-negotiable step you have to take.
Yes. You must always ask for proof.
Get a receipt.
Always get a receipt. The phrase, could I get a receipt, please, needs to be automatic. That piece of paper is your only proof the transaction happened.
So important. Okay, now let's flip it. Withdrawing money. Taking it out.
The language is very similar. I'd like to withdraw $200, please.
Or, can I withdraw some money from my checking account?
And here's where you might get a question that catches people off guard, especially with a larger amount. The teller might ask, would you like that in cash or in a cashier's check?
Okay, that's a key distinction. We all know what cash is. What's a cashier's check?
A cashier's check is basically a check that's guaranteed by the bank itself. It's not coming from your personal funds, so to speak. The bank is backing it.
So it's used for big purchases, like a car, where the person receiving it needs to know the money is real.
Exactly. For daily spending money, you just say, in cash, please.
That's a fantastic clarification. Of course, most of our banking now doesn't even involve a person, which takes us to the ATM.
The automated teller machine, the self-service hub. And while you're not talking to a person, you are having a conversation with the machine. You need to know its language.
Right. It all feels so simple until you're in a rush and stressed out. The screen will say, please insert your card. Then the most important step, enter your PIN. And let's pause there. PIN-in is your personal identification number.
Your secret 4-digit code. Keep it secret.
Okay, so after the PIN, you get a menu. Select your transaction.
And you'll choose withdrawal or maybe check balance. Then they'll ask you about a receipt. Do you want a receipt?
Sure.
And finally, hopefully.
Transaction complete.
Right. But what about when it's not complete? When things go wrong?
Yeah, the scary moments. You might see a message like, transaction failed. Please contact your bank.
Which is annoying, but not a disaster.
Yeah.
The real high-stress scenario, the one everyone dreads.
The machine eats your card.
The machine keeps your card. Your heart just drops into your stomach.
You can't panic. You need to walk right inside the bank with the exact phrase, ready to go.
And that phrase needs to be clear, polite, but also urgent. Something like, excuse me, the ATM kept my card. Could you help me, please?
That's perfect. It gets you immediate attention without sounding frantic.
Having that sentence prepared saves so much time and frustration.
Okay, so let's move into our final section, which is about more complex stuff. Dealing with mistakes or understanding all that fine print. What if you're looking at your bank statement and something just seems wrong?
You need language that frames it as an inquiry, not an accusation.
Good point.
So you could say, I think there's a mistake on my account statement. Or, if you want help with a specific item, could you please help me check a transaction?
That's much better than you made a mistake.
Much better. And this brings us to another key area, the fine print. The things that can cost you money if you don't ask about them up front.
Like fees.
Exactly. And the biggest one to watch out for, according to our sources, is the minimum balance requirement.
Okay, what is that?
It's the amount of money the bank requires you to keep in the account at all times.
And if your balance drops below that number, even for one day?
That's when you get hit with fees. Sometimes pretty big maintenance fees or penalties.
So you have to be proactive and ask about this stuff when you open the account.
You must ask, what's the minimum balance requirement? And a great follow-up is, are there any monthly fees for this account?
And if there are, you might even be able to ask if they can be waived.
Yes. Sometimes they'll waive fees if you set up a direct deposit or something similar.
Yeah.
But you have to ask. Never assume.
That's incredibly useful advice. Okay, last thing. Let's cover how to end the relationship. If you're leaving the country or changing banks, how do you close an account politely?
It stays consistent with our very first rule. You use I'd like to.
So, I'd like to close my account, please.
Yeah.
As simple as that. Or you could add a little context. I no longer need this account. How do I close it? And that's it. We've literally gone through the entire life cycle from opening the account with I'd like to all the way to closing it.
We really have covered everything from proof of address to the ATM eating your card.
So just to wrap up the key takeaways for everyone listening, number one is master that phrase, I'd like to.
Absolutely. And remember, proof of address almost always means a utility bill or a lease.
Know that a cashier's check is for big, secure purchases.
And always ask about the minimum balance requirement to avoid those hidden fees.
This deep dive really shows that talking about money isn't just about vocabulary, it's about understanding the culture around it.
It is. And that leads us to a final thought for you to consider.
Go on.
These banking interactions, they all depend so much on formality and clarity. So think about how being prepared with this precise, polite language actually shifts the whole dynamic.
You mean it gives you more control?
Exactly. When you use a phrase like, I'd like to, you're not just a passive person asking for something. You are actively and successfully managing a really high-stakes real-world transaction. It gives you confidence and it gives you control in what can be a really overwhelming environment.
Okay, let's talk about something that can feel, well, super daunting when you're in a new country. Banking in English. Whether you're here to study, work, or just travel, this is going to be your guide to handling it all with total confidence. All right, let's jump right in. First off, let's just be honest. If the idea of walking into a bank and trying to explain what you need in English makes you a little nervous, you are so not alone. I mean, it's a formal situation, it's your money we're talking about, and it can feel like a really high-pressure conversation. But we're going to flip that script right now. Think of this as your personal quest, a mission to arm you with the exact words and phrases you need to navigate any banking situation like a pro. By the end of this, you're going to feel prepared and, totally empowered. So, mission accepted. Let's set the scene. Picture this. You've just landed in a new city, and one of your first big tasks is to get your finances sorted. And that means a trip to the bank. We're going to get you ready for that very first encounter. Okay, our first objective, and honestly, it's usually the biggest one, is opening that new bank account. This is often the longest conversation you'll have with them, so knowing the key phrases here is absolutely essential. This right here, this is your golden ticket. It's your single most powerful opening line. Why? Because it's polite, it's crystal clear, and it immediately tells the bank staff exactly what you're there for. Go ahead and memorize this one. It's your key to starting off on the right foot. Now here's a little cultural nuance that's really important. Saying "I want" isn't wrong exactly, but it can sound a bit too direct, maybe even a little demanding. "I'd like," which is just short for "I would like," is so much softer, and it's a much more polite way to ask for something. So here's the takeaway. Always try to use "I'd like." So after you deliver that perfect opening line, the teller's going to start asking you some questions. And these are pretty much the most common ones you'll hear. By seeing them now, you won't be surprised or caught off guard. You can have your documents and your answers all ready to go. So one of those questions is going to be about the type of account you want. It basically boils down to these two. A checking account, that's your daily driver. It's for money coming in and money going out, for bills, groceries, all that stuff. A savings account, that's for the money you want to tuck away for your future goals. Knowing these two terms is key. Okay, now here is a term that trips up so many people. Proof of address. This is a big one. It's not your passport or your ID. The bank needs to see an official document, like an electricity bill or your rental contract that has both your name and your new address printed right on it. And hey, if you ever forget what a term means or you just don't understand something they've said, this phrase is your best friend. It is a perfectly polite and totally natural way to ask for more information. Seriously, never be afraid to ask for clarification. All right, you did it. Your account is open. So now let's talk about the day-to-day stuff. We're going to cover the two most common things you'll do, putting money in your account and taking money out. Pretty much any simple transaction can be broken down into these 4 easy steps. Just greet them, say what you want, tell them the amount, and then, super important, always ask for a receipt. Simple, clear, and totally effective. So, to put money into your account, the magic word is deposit. And this phrase is the perfect template. You just change the amount and what you're depositing. For instance, you could say, "I'd like to deposit this check, please." Easy, right? And to take money out of your account, the word you're looking for is withdraw. And again, just notice that polite phrasing, "I'd like to." And of course, please. It's the simple, direct phrase you'll need every time. Okay, but let's be real. Not all of your banking is going to happen with a person. So let's tackle the self-service option, the ATM, or automated teller machine. The language here is a little different because it's all about on-screen commands. These are basically the greatest hits of ATM phrases. You're going to see them over and over. Please insert your card. Enter your PIN. That's your secret code, by the way. It's all pretty straightforward. Transaction failed is the one nobody wants to see, but hey, it's good to know what it means. Now for the emergency situation. What happens if the machine eats your card and doesn't give it back? First thing, don't panic. It happens. You just walk inside the bank, find an employee, and use this exact phrase. It clearly explains the problem and politely asks for help. This is a crucial one to remember, just in case. Besides ATM trouble, other little issues can pop up. Maybe you see a charge on your account you don't recognize, or you just have a question about fees. So let's look at the phrases you'll need to solve these trickier problems. Think of this as your problem-solving toolkit. If you see a weird charge, you can say, "I think there's a mistake on my account statement." Want to know about hidden costs? Just ask, "Are there any monthly fees for this account?" These phrases are polite but direct, and they'll help you get the answers you need.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground on our banking quest. So let's do a quick, rapid-fire review of the most essential phrases just to really lock them into your memory.
First, for getting started, I'd like to open a checking account. It's clear, it's polite, and it's specific. It gets that really important first conversation started off perfectly.
Next, for any transaction you make, always ask, "Could I get a receipt, please?" This simple question makes sure you have a record, a little paper trail for your finances. It is such a smart habit to get into.
And for that heart-stopping moment at the ATM, "Excuse me, the ATM kept my card. Could you help me?" This is your lifeline. It clearly explains the emergency and gets you the help you need right away.
And there you have it. You've seen the phrases, you understand the process, you are equipped for the mission. That anxiety we talked about at the beginning, we can replace that with preparation and confidence. You are absolutely ready for your next conversation.